taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, it's your boy T.O. as you know.
It's your boy O-Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yo, it's a motherfucking fake podcast. You one-stop shop for everything TV, media, film related, along with any of the goddamn thing you want to talk about. Coming to you live, direct, Proof Concept Studios. What is up?
Yeah.
What's going on? How's everybody doing out there on a Monday?
Today's opening day in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So that means just down the road from where we are, Pickles Pub and what is the other one? Looney's and
Never even been down
Dills
there,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, you got to do opening day at least once. But I already know those bars are jumping right now. Yeah. Here's my prediction for the Orioles baseball season. We're going to start off hot. We're going to win like 11 or 15 out of the first like 20 games. And people are like, oh, this might be the season, and then we're going to lose the next 86 in a row.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty typical for the O's.
Yeah.
Look, I don't really begrudge the O's. You know what I mean? Like, because they had their heyday in the 90s, right? I don't remember them winning any titles in the 90s. But they at least had Cal Ripken.
Ripken.
They had Cal Ripken. Yeah. You know, like once you have like somebody who's kind of like GOAT status, which does Cal Ripken, I don't really watch baseball, so I don't really know. Does he count as GOAT status in baseball?
I think he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame is different than GOAT status. Hall of Fame is just like, I feel like they just it's like the club, right? You know, there's people who get into the club. Then there's the VIP section.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Even when you're in the VIP section, there are people who you know, like, yo, that I can't believe I'm here with that guy. I think Cal Ripken might qualify for GOAT status. Baseball's so tough because it's like some people are like, oh, Babe Ruth, right? But like that's Babe Ruth was playing baseball before they let Dominicans play, and it's like I don't count anything before baseball was integrated. Yeah. So it's like I don't. My baseball history starts with like Hank Aaron. And then
I don't know who that is. Who the fuck is that? Who's Hank Aaron?
Isn't he the dude that
I don't know. Asking the wrong person.
Black Panther.
No,
Chadwick Boseman.
That's Jackie Robinson.
That's Jackie Robinson?
42.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's where my baseball history. Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson, Barry Bonds, and then I skipped like 40 years right there alone.
Fair enough, man. So outside of opening day, what's going on with you?
Oh man, hey, life is good. Went to a comedy show this week.
This is what I heard.
The legend. I do consider Aries Spears.
Legend?
He's been doing a comedy. He's been relevant in comedy for the better part of like 40 years. Real shit. He's been doing this a long, 30 years. I aged him.
Legend?
He's been doing comedy a long time at a really high level.
Doing comedy is not the same thing.
He's not Chappelle level. But I think when you look at like some of the more like well-known, like successful black comedians that have stood the test of time and that have constantly delivered, I think Aries Spears is on that list because his comedy show that I went to this weekend, fire. I mean, he was hitting on all cylinders. Like I didn't really, even the controversial shit, he found a way to make it funny, and I feel like it's difficult to do that as an older comedian to stay like young and relevant and current. But anyway. The show was great. Shout out to Aries Spears. Thank you for putting on a fantastic show at the Baltimore Comedy Factory. Loved it. Also, the worst comedy club location you could ever go to. It's like in the event level suite at like the Ramada Hotel, like off of a highway, next to a truck park. And it's just like a terrible like location, but you know. Tip Harris is going to be there next week. T.I. if you don't know who Tip Harris is. So it's like
didn't he just get?
He just got booed off stage. Yeah, at like Madison Square Garden or something.
Yeah,
like
why did he?
He's not a comedian. He's a rapper, but he's like venturing into comedy. And
wait, no. First of all, that's not even what I was talking. But what?
You didn't know this?
No.
Yeah. So T.I. has been doing a lot of stand-up comedy lately. He's like actually doing shows and going on. Like opening up for other bigger acts and whatnot. As far as I understand, his reviews so far have been like 50-50. Like some night he'll bomb, and other nights he'll do really well.
So I think the reason why I know that this is probably not going to work out is because so I don't think it's indicative, right? When a comedian is
a word he would use,
huh?
A word he would use.
Indicative.
Yeah, he's not I like to use the big ass words.
I feel like he looks them up right before he goes like to talk about it, and then he just says he finds a way to work it into whatever the fuck he's talking about. But no, so I'm not. It's not an indicative at all if a person is not a good actor, but they're a good comedian, right? But I do feel like it gives you a flavor of where they're. And I've never found his like comedy type of acting particularly like funny at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think T.I. is a fairly good rapper turned actor, and I mean, still very much a rapper.
he's a very good rapper. Very good. I mean, we don't need to say fairly.
He's a fairly good actor. As a
Oh,
rapper,
actor. Oh, I'm sorry.
as a rapper,
Okay.
we know
I
T.I.
thought you said rapper.
No.
Okay.
T.I. is solidified as like one of the best out of Atlanta. It's, in my opinion, it's like Jeezy, Gucci, Ludacris, T.I., 2 Chainz, those guys, right? They're at the top of the list. Was that?
No, Andre 3 Stacks?
That's like evergreen, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Ari Spears comedy show. Very great show. A lot of controversial topics. He still found a way to make it really funny. But here's what I learned. You got to do your research on the comedian you're going to see. And if you are not prepared for whatever onslaught, whatever attack is about to come your way, do not sit in the front section of a comedy show. You better be dressed appropriately. You better not have on anything that's going to make you stand out above anybody else. Your hair better not be wild. Your clothes better not be wild. You better not be sitting next to somebody wild, or maybe you're the wild-looking person. But he fucking roasted so many people at this comedy show. It was insane. At a certain part, you started to feel bad for these people.
Yeah.
But it was funny as fuck, so you kept going.
Yeah.
Anyway, great time at this comedy show. Ari Spears, loved it. Do not sit in front row of a comedy show.
That is fair. I feel like to say, and I generally don't sit like even from my high school days. I didn't sit in front of class. Like, what are we doing here?
In school, I would sit in front of the class.
Yeah. For what reason? What was it? You had to have a reason. You can't just be sitting in the front for no fucking reason. What are you doing up there?
I don't know. Like, I always found, and say like, oh, like you shouldn't think you're better than some people. But like, I was always felt like I was better than the people who sat in the back because they would always talk, wouldn't shut the fuck up. It would be a lot of distractions in the back. So I always sat like the front row at least the second row.
I never really wanted to sit in the back, but I just would never sit in the front because I know that's where a lot of action happens, right?
In the front, yeah.
Yeah, that's when you get called on to say things when you don't really want to. Like,
well, you know me, I like to talk. We're doing a podcast right now. So I had no problem sitting in the front row. You want my opinion? I'm going to give it to you.
That was the truest statement I've ever heard in my life.
And a smart bad joints always sat in the front too. So I was right next to, Katrina and Selena and Kim and LaToya and Tanya, Angel, Juanita, Michelle.
All right, X.
I had to channel that.
Apparently. So, dude, let's kind of get into some this week, next week stuff. I don't know what's coming out this week, mostly because I just have not looked into it. But I know what I'm anticipating coming out. So I actually really do want to see Ambulance, even though they came out last week. I think it came out
this past Sunday.
Okay,
this past Saturday or Sunday. Ambulance, Jake Gyllenhaal. What the fuck is this dude's name?
Yahya Mateen.
Mateen the second. Michael Bay project. I do want to see this fucking movie.
I want to see it only because I had very low expectations for it, but apparently it's actually really good, which I would never fucking predict for a Michael Bay movie. So that's really the only reason why I want to go see it, is to see if it lives up to this unusually high level of expectation apparently that we've bestowed upon a Michael Bay film. But there's
I feel like with the cast in this one, it's hard to miss. You know what I mean? Like the first 2 or 3 Transformers movies were really good, and then the last 5 or 6 weren't. Yeah. And it was probably because of the cast. It was like Mark Wahlberg and then like some other like randos. But the first 3 was like, Shia LaBeouf and like really good supporting cast.
Yeah.
So you give Shia LaBeouf, what's this guy's name? Michael Bay. You give him a good cast, a good story to tell, lots of money for explosions and gunshots and bodies. I feel like he could do some things.
I feel like that's a redundant thing to say, right? Because it's like, were you not going to give him lots of money for explosions and shit? Like, what is the thing you're doing outside of that?
Yeah, true.
There's no plot. Like, what are we doing here? It's a Michael Bay movie.
I feel like Michael Bay, like every time he does a movie, they're like, you can have 12 writers working on this film.
He's
or you
like,
can have 4 writers.
He's just looking at him like
$10 million in like explosives. He's like, give me the explosives.
No,
I don't need the writers.
He's looking at him dumbfounded, like, why are you even asking? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just, come on, you know what the fuck
Intern?
I'm doing.
You know who I am. I'm Michael Bay. Give me the explosions.
So Fantastic Beast is actually coming out this week. Now it's interesting. Again, we've talked ad nauseum about Ezra Miller. He's in this film, so it's going to be interesting to see how the movie's received. Again, we already said last week, neither of us are very big Harry Potter buffs, but that should be interesting this week. Now, there's not too much this week that I find terribly interesting. Although I did want to watch, I meant to go Sunday, but I just did not do it.
Everything all the time. I saw it this Sunday.
Did you? How was it?
Phenomenal.
Oh my God! Fuck! I'm so jealous right now.
I want to lie to you.
Twice. Are you for real?
Yeah, I swear to God.
What? It was that good?
It was that fucking good.
No way! You're shitting me.
I'm not lying to you. Like there was parts in the movies where I'm just like, the first time I tried to like, okay,
clear the throat,
drink some water, eat some Skittles. Taste this motherfucking rainbow. That's why I'm crying. That's beautiful.
For real,
The second time, I just let him drop.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I felt like a slave or something.
Fuck, you should have hit me up. Where'd you see that?
We saw it at the Regal Cinema in Gambrills. It was me and Emily.
That's a bop for me.
Remember, it was the one where we went to go see Endgame.
No, that's a bop.
We went and this old school theater, like the seats didn't recline. You just got to sit at 90 fucking degrees.
Yeah, I kind of like the throwback theater. It's actually miserable, but I kind of, it reminds me of like,
yeah. When we got in there and we sat down, I was like, oh, okay, we finna take it back to the 99 and the 2000s. But bro, the movie was phenomenal.
Oh my God!
Throughout the movie, like I just kept thinking in my head, like, yo, Jamie Lee Curtis is a beast. Like she's carrying this movie. Yeah. And then you'd be like, no, I'm sorry. And I forget the actress's name who plays Evelyn in the film.
I'll check it out real quick.
Please pull up the cast for me. But like, you'd be like, Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie, incredible. What's her name?
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Bro, like her performance.
I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right.
If this film, like, you know how you do some of these smaller films and they would be like
Oscar
nominated.
Like
this film has to be Oscar contention.
Yeah,
absolutely has to.
Nah, they'll give that shit to like fucking like.
Yeah, dude, the story was great. I loved how meta it was because it wasn't like above itself in terms of like, all right, we're making a crazy movie here.
Yeah,
we're gonna acknowledge that it's a little bit crazy, but it's so fucking
God
good.
Damn it! I want to see it so bad.
This is the best movie I've seen all year, hands down.
God damn it, man!
Not even close.
What the fuck?
Not even close.
I was this close from going to go see it, and then I was just like, nah, because I was gonna. Technically, I was actually gonna go see it Saturday.
I want to see it again.
Yo, you're killing me.
I might
right
see it again,
dude.
like Wednesday or something like that.
Damn, man, I might be out there with you, man.
I'm not even excited anymore for like Doctor Strange and the multiverse. That was the biggest movie that I was like, yo, I'm so excited. That's probably gonna be the best movie of the year.
I'm only excited about that movie, not necessarily because of all the multiversal sort of things, but because of what it implies for the rest of the MCU. Because I know, obviously, we're gonna probably get some X-Men in there, probably some wild shit we weren't even predicting. But that's the shit. I'm not really looking forward to it in terms of like, oh my God, this is going to.
It's not really like the film you're looking for. It's like not the spoilers, but like who else is gonna be in it? What's gonna happen? And like then that's gonna be indicative of what's gonna happen next, right? Like Marvel does well at like giving you the thing, but also you're excited for like what happens after the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
This movie was just a great fucking movie.
Damn, man, I really want to.
If DVDs were still like relevant, I would buy it on DVD.
God Blu-ray. Damn, yo, stop slicing it. All right, tell me something bad about the movie. All right, you're slicing it up because I really wanted to go see it, and now I'm like really regretting my non-seeing.
It was a touch long. It was a long movie.
Okay.
Like, fuck, it was good. Like if they made it a minute shorter,
stop
I'd be like,
I don't even want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah,
it's a terrible movie. I don't know.
Go see it. A24 does not
does it again.
Like, oh God. Anyway, we
yeah,
got a show to do.
I don't even want to do the rest of the show. I'm fucking pissed, dude. Let's see what else we got going on this week. So there are a couple things I'm probably gonna leave for later in the show, but the one thing I did want to talk about super quick, is So there have been a couple quotes from Jason Segel recently. I don't know if you know him. He played Marshall in How I Met Your Mother. Okay.
Saving Sarah Silverman.
Saving Sarah Silverman. I like it.
Right? He was in that one, right? He was a dude.
Saving or forgetting Sarah Marshall. Is,
Yeah.
I think.
Wait,
what you're
Sarah
talking
Silverman was
about.
in it.
No, she was not even in it.
She's the comedian, right? Sarah Silverman.
She's the comedian, not in the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
She was. She was in it. Pull it up right now on IB. I guarantee.
How many
you.
times do you have to lose to me in bets?
Sarah Silverman.
How many
was in
bottles?
Forgetting-
How many bottles?
Put another bottle on.
Are you serious?
Yes, let's go. Put another bottle on.
Okay.
We're live right here.
Okay.
Listen, this is the test. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Sarah Silverman was in that movie.
Okay. All right, dude. You keep
Small
doing this.
part, but she was in.
What part?
I don't know.
She wasn't in the movie at all, dude.
Pull it up. Give me the cast list.
All right, cast list. All right, we got Kristen Bell, Jason Segel, Paul Rudd, Mila Kunis, Russell Brand, Bill Hader, Liz, some name I can't pronounce, Maria. Dude, she's not in the fucking movie. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Fucking Billy Bush, Jonah Hill, Jack McBriar, a lot of people. No Sarah Silverman because she was not in this fucking movie. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How many times do you have to do this, dude? How many times do you have to lose before you just stop betting? Dude, I never want to go with you to Vegas. That would be a losing endeavor. we would leave as indentured servants
at the casinos. I'm up in Vegas. The last time I went to Vegas, I left up. Vegas is mad at me.
Fair enough.
Where's the movie that I'm thinking about? Listen, I'll find it.
It's not this movie is all I'm trying to say.
I don't know, man. It might still be. There's still a chance.
Jesus. First you called named the movie after her, and then you said she was in. It was just, come on, dude. Just a very losing effort you got going here.
You might be right. There's still a possibility you're wrong.
Might be. I don't.
Small possibility that you might be wrong.
Okay, if you say so. Anyways, the reason why I brought Jason Segel up is because he had comments more recently about the fact that after filming, after How I Met Your Mother ended, he essentially just like left Hollywood, not leaving acting, but left living in Hollywood, and he went to go to this small town and just lived in the small town. And so you hear about this very often in terms of a lot of people.
Julia Roberts lives in Wisconsin or something like that.
Weird tidbit, but okay. Fair enough. Very applicable to what I'm talking about.
Like there are a lot of actors who like live in New York because they're like, especially like a lot of comedic actors. I think Louis C.K.
Yikes.
No, I like Louis. I don't give a fuck. So I think like, and I think fucking Jerry Seinfeld, right? He doesn't live in L.A. I think he's a New York guy.
So I guess what
he's a New York guy.
What is it all about?
I feel like I need to work on my Jerry Seinfeld.
No, you don't. It's annoying as fuck. I actually don't like. I feel like outside of the context of like if he just did that in person, if he was like my friend or something, I might punch him in the face if he just did that all the time.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, would he just talk
unless
normally?
You know
fucking weirdo.
He's that like unless you know like that's his real.
No, voice. I'd be annoyed immediately. Yeah.
Who's your best celebrity impersonation?
I don't think I have one. I'm terrible at impersonations. Damn. There's one.
You did a great one the other day.
Yeah, I feel like there's one.
Was it like a wrestler or something like that?
I don't know if it was The Rock.
You did The Rock. You did The Rock the other day. Yeah. You did that. And I was
I feel like if I try to do it, I'll fuck it. I really will fuck it up. It was lightning in a bottle.
I remember when you did it, and I was like, holy shit, that was good. That was really good. I would say mine's are, I do Denzel well. I also do a fairly good Obama.
Well, now you got to do it because you.
Well, I mean, you know the classic Training Day lines, like, or Remember the Titans.
No, what's
Denzel is easy. Denzel's just gonna be like, okay, all right, okay. He's like,
I hate the fact that was so good.
Remember when Jake got in the car? He's like, where is the office? And he just hit the hydraulics like. You in the office.
Yo, I want to do an entire episode on Training Day. So I watched Training Day when I was a kid, or I guess teen. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was like, oh man, this is like a really good Denzel movie, right? It wasn't until I watched it as like it was like maybe some months ago or like maybe even a year ago.
Yeah,
where I watched
we both watched
we talked
it
about
like a couple months ago.
Dude. Masterpiece. This movie is a masterpiece, and I don't think it's celebrated nearly as much as it needs to be.
Remember when we used to play Halo?
Fucking masterpiece.
JP remembers this well.
Okay.
When we used to play Halo, my favorite weapon in Halo was a shotgun.
Yeah.
and I would always.
Oh
yeah. I'm surgical with this bitch. One of my favorite
one of the hottest lines. That's a hot line.
I feel like that wasn't even in the script. There's no way some writer
was like, I'm surgical
in this bitch. Denzel's character cocks the gun. Like, no, that was all Denzel just being cold as fuck.
Ad-libbing, man. Oh my God. It's just everything from the plot to how it's acted. And I can't explain it enough how masterful this fucking movie is. Like, and I watched it recently only because like I think it just became available on some sort of streaming service. So I was like, you know what I haven't watched in a while? Training Day. Let me watch that. And I just sat there for like an hour and a half, like, what the actual that connected to that, and then that connects to that, and then like the performances, even Denzel from the rip is just like, yo, he's coming out hot in terms of his portrayal, and I forget. And I'm sad that I even forget his character's name now. I feel like it's going to come to me here in a sec. But anyways, I can't explain enough how much I fucking appreciate this movie, Training Day. And for those out there who are looking for like, okay, well, how do you build an effective story that fucking is just so tight? It to me is kind of like the Dark Knight before the Dark Knight in that it's such a tightly packed story. It's even better than the Dark Knight in some ways because it's a more compact story. The Dark Knight is just this like sort of large sprawl. It's like 4 movies in one, The Dark Knight, but each one is so fucking good. Training Day, it's just the proper amount of time, and they just fit in. Like there's not any fat in Training Day. Everything matters. Every scene fucking matters to the story.
You know, like it's Denzel was so good that it even overshadows how fucking good Ethan Hawke was in that movie.
No, Ethan Hawke was amazing, but they were vibing clearly like off. They clearly vibed off of each other.
But Ethan Hawke was great in this movie.
Fantastic.
But Denzel was so fucking good. It's like, and I'm not saying he overshadows Ethan Hawke, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like everybody in that movie showed up at the highest level because none of the characters were like hard to believe.
Yeah. No, you believed everybody from the jump. You believe everybody was everybody, and even from Ethan Hawke's performance, like you knew what informed his character from that phone call at the beginning where he's kind of like, Denzel's. You don't even hear his voice yet you get a vibe for who this guy is, and you get a vibe for who Ethan Hawke's character is just by those first few minutes. I can't. We need to do like an entire episode on Training Day. I'm in love with that movie.
Any reason to watch that movie again, I'm with it.
Yeah, dude. But anyways, back to Hollywood and living in Hollywood. So Jason Segel said, "Hey, I chucked the deuces to Hollywood back, after, and this was in 2014 when How I Met Your Mother ended." And it got me to thinking that, what is the actual usefulness of living in LA, like outside of
proximity?
So proximity, but also it's like when you need to do a project, you do the project, and then you dip. It's just like, to me, it's just like kind of like not any other job, clearly, but like it's like a project. You work on a project, and some of the projects shoot all over the place. They don't necessarily shoot. Like if you're working on a show when he was shooting How I Met Your Mother, makes sense, right? Because they're probably shooting on a lot for a majority of the show. So it just makes sense to be there. But if you're shooting a movie, chances are, unless it's just centrally, which I don't know how many movies are just, especially like higher budget movies, are just centrally located in Hollywood itself. Yeah. Instead of shooting on location at various places. Again, and I'm sure
how important it is to be close. I think the only real necessity as an actor or musician or whatever to like live in LA or Hollywood is proximity to the thing, right? Like you're always just like a mile away from the thing, the party with like the person who may get you cast in the movie or tell you, you might be at a party with like a director who's like, I'm working on a project, I'd love for you to be a part of it. And it's just so happened that you guys are at the same bar or same restaurant or same golf course or fucking gas station. I don't know. But proximity is the real reason why I feel like a lot of people go to LA. Like, I want to be close to the thing.
Well, yeah, I would think that for actors and actresses, especially anybody who's looking to break into the industry, it's important that that proximity is important. But for people who are like more established, I really don't. I don't think I necessarily see the benefit outside of like living the LA life, really.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, like, but that even got me to thinking even further of just like the whole idea of like city life. Like, so when I think that there's a lot of people who are looking to remove themselves, especially from the like the really popular cities like New York, LA, not so much Atlanta. I think people are still, you know, there's probably a net.
Dave Chappelle lives in Ohio.
Incoming to like Atlanta. I think ultimately like what I thought about when I was reading this article that that was quoting him, I was thinking to myself, like, I feel like there's an appeal to just a quiet life, you know, like forget the glitz and because I've never been interested myself in like the glitz and glamour of it all. Like I've always just been interested in like the work itself as well as, you know, the not necessarily accolades, but like the recognition that like, oh yeah, you did something that was like really like notable, but I don't want the fame, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I feel like other people, like there are people who want the fame and I've never been able to like really understand that. I want to be able to walk down the street and just walk. Like, I don't want fucking people to come up to me.
There's like Kevin Hart and then there's like Dave Chappelle. Neither's wrong for like how they want to live their lives, right? Or how they want to build their brands. But like Kevin Hart is like, you know, he's going to be the guy who like lives in LA. He loves the fame. He loves the attention. He enjoys all of that, right? Like that's very much a part of like his persona. Whereas Dave Chappelle is like, no, I'll do the LA shit, but then I live in Ohio on a ranch.
Yeah.
With my family. We have like just a ranch and a house and we live in a small town. I think this town Dave Chappelle lives in has like 500 people in the town. Very, very small.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like, you know, and I say this all the time. Like, my girlfriend doesn't believe me because she's like,
oh, no. By the way, and this is a complete detachment from what we're talking about right now. How did she enjoy everything?
Oh, fuck.
She loved it.
I
say, I was like, okay, this isn't a horror movie, but I'm like, I feel like this might be one that she appreciates, you know?
Yeah. I want to hear from someone who didn't like the movie. Be like, what are you on?
All right, let's stop talking. I'm sorry I even brought it back up.
But anyway, I would hate to never be able to not be able to walk down the street. I like going for walks.
Come on,
especially if you live in a city. Walking, if you've never lived in like a big city, walking through the city sometimes is just like there's just a energy to it. Like you can literally walk 5 miles in New York City and it feels like you snapped your
throw
fingers.
some fucking headphones on, man. Get your little playlist together, man, and just take a walk in like the city. Oh my God, talk about therapy, dude. Like, not to mention if you might have been, you know, blowing some gas or something like that. Oh my God.
Pop edible. Walk 40 blocks in New York City.
You will feel like a brand new
great
person.
day. Yeah.
You will feel brand new.
If that's all you did that day, you just went for a long walk through the city.
Yeah.
Straight.
You're good to go.
That's a great day.
And so I wouldn't want to walk down the fucking street and get mobbed down. But like,
my God.
Like if I was one of like the fucking, I'm probably dating myself and saying this. I'm not even dating myself just because I was probably before this time. But like the Jonas Brothers or like Justin Bieber, right? I don't want to fucking be Justin Bieber and be fucking like strolling down the street.
Did you ever see that video of Justin Bieber? It's like he arrived at his house.
Check that one girl who, and then she just ignored him and he was just like, well, I just told you, chill the fuck out.
I think he was like very respectful, like, hey, listen, like, you know, I think he was saying like, have you ever like, you know, when you have a long day and you just want to come home, like,
this is my house,
privacy.
This is that place for me.
And then he was like, this is my private place and I want you guys to respect that. And she was still like, can I have a hug? He was like, no, like I just
told you.
So yeah, that I would fucking hate because like I have a temper, so I already know if I'm like stressed out and I get home from a long day, and people are outside of my house, I'm gonna be pissed. Or if I like it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like,
I don't think that's respected enough. How much patience these celebrities have, like, because.
Remember when Eminem was like, I can't even take a shit without somebody standing by it?
Yeah,
like,
the Way I Am, which is one of my favorite Eminem songs.
Great song.
Yeah.
But that's mad true. It's like, you know, if you're a celebrity, if you go to the bathroom, there's probably going to be somebody waiting outside of the stall for an autograph or a picture.
Dude, I just dropped
how do you know
deuce.
Like, if I didn't you want to shake my hand? How do you know if I didn't wipe?
Oh, they don't care. They don't care. They're like, look, salmonella, I don't care. The salmonella, is that what you would get from not wiping your ass? What is it? What would you get?
Mad cow disease? I don't know. What is Ebola?
Ebola, just all in one. The fucking the perfect storm of fucking diseases. But anyways, so I saw that and I thought that was like an interesting thing that he kind of gave up this sort of like Hollywood type of lifestyle in favor of this like more quiet, which I feel like that's always preferable, especially like because he was talking about like just going to like high school football games and like going to go see like school plays and things like that, which I thought was like that's like really like that's cool, like that you can just go do just some like ordinary shit.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if I couldn't go to my daughter's starting lacrosse
without somebody like mobbing you,
super
that's
cool.
fucking dope,
my God,
dude.
bro.
What your daughter's like 4, 5? 5?
Yeah, 5 turned 6 in July.
Ain't that kind of early for lacrosse?
No,
I mean, it's normal.
You start them young. Is
this like Pee Wee kind of situation?
Yeah, it's like
no. I mean, like I guess what I'm saying is this the type of age? Is this the age where kids usually get into like Pee Wee football?
This is the age where like kids generally like pick this sport, right?
Ooh.
But like they'll probably only play it for like a year, then they'll like lacrosse 1 year, then they switch to soccer, then they want to do cheerlead. Like kids kind of just go wherever their friends go, right?
Yeah.
So they're all starting off like the only reason we kind of signed her up is because 2 of the other girls in her class were like, the parents were like, we signed them over for lacrosse. Well, okay, cool. We'll sign our daughter up too. But she's excited about it, bro. This is one of the coolest feelings, like as a parent. And I know there are people who don't have kids who are like, I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. But I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I think I told you this story. We went to Dick's Sporting Goods, get everything. I don't want nothing on sale. Top shit. If it's on sale, I don't want it. Get it the fuck out of my face. I want the big dog shit.
Yeah.
I want the brand new cleats. I want the newest stick. I want the lightweight aluminum made of like fucking adamantium or whatever. Like whatever Wolverine's claws were made of, I want that stick. You know what I mean? I want the best balls, pads, clothes, everything. So it was a dope experience being able to like, buy her all the gear that she needs, and I could be the sports dad. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine going to like my kid's game and like there are people there like taking pictures of you, wanting to do an interview, photographing you. Like,
shit's for the birds, dude. Like it
I
really
need a
is.
sniper in the trees.
But yeah. Anyways, I think that living a quiet life like that is necessary. And honestly, for like mental health reasons, it's like I feel like, and obviously like that's the term that gets thrown around a lot these days. But I feel like to hold your own fucking sanity, I think you just need to sometimes you just disconnect and honestly get away from yourself, because I feel like when you go to a quieter place, I feel like you can kind of I feel like people who always remind you of you make you, I feel like, become obsessed with you. Then you become more obsessed with the image of you versus just existing in the world versus trying to play the character of you.
You know who I think about in this moment? Like The Rock, right?
Yeah, The Rock can't just say whatever the fuck he wants
anywhere without being like, pictures, photographs.
The Rock.
Because he's
recognizable,
so recognizable as The Rock, right? Other celebrities, you might be able to change your hair, put on a hoodie, and you're good. But like The Rock, I don't think he can put on a hoodie and people won't recognize him.
No, fucking muscles are fucking too big.
So for him, and he's always got to be The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Right?
But that's kind of his fault, because that's what he's, and it's worked out for him. Clearly.
It's his brand. That's
his brand. Yeah. He branded himself as that. But the problem with that is then become, and I'm not trying to say this because and I don't even know if The Rock identifies as black, because he's Samoan. So at least
he identifies as like a person of color.
Yeah, I don't think he says. But anyways, so like, I'm not saying this because I would consider him black, but like, you become kind of a slave to that thing. You know what I mean? Like you become like, then you can't. I can't just we were talking about just before the podcast. I swore we were not going to talk about any Will Smith shit during this podcast, but like, Will Smith can't escape being like Will, and when he does, the fucking world breaks down when he's for even a second. Not Will
I feel
Smith.
like if people meet him and that he's not like the Will Smith that
they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Like, oh, you lied to me.
Yeah,
like, no, I'm just trying to pay for my groceries. I didn't lie to you. What the fuck?
Just trying to pay for my groceries. I'm just that kinko.
Do I insert or do I tap or do I swipe? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. You want to take a video? Like, no.
Yo. Okay. So moving on to other shit. J-Lo, Ben, engaged.
Yo.
I guess it's for real this time.
Ben Affleck, King Affleck.
You see, you have a different take than
Love Ben Affleck.
You have a different take.
I like Batman vs Superman. I liked his rendition of Batman. I liked him in Deep Water. I believe the film we reviewed on the podcast recently.
Yes, people don't like that movie. It's weird. Like I check out some of my reviews.
The last 30 minutes was dog shit. Let's be real
I
about that.
thought it was
The
all right.
first 30 minutes was really, really good. Either way, it's hard not to like Ben Affleck. Other than I hope they don't do another one. They should never do another movie again.
Now there's a little bit of a stretch where I don't think Ben was getting favorable.
Well, yeah. So he said like in Hollywood he was going through like this is when he was dealing with alcoholism and he was like kind of like separating from this was after like
Hillary Swank. Wait,
was
he married?
with Hillary?
Was he? Was it
No,
Hillary Swank?
was it? Did he hit Hillary Swank?
No. Who's his wife?
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
got
I was
those two mixed
like,
up.
you remember that episode of The Office? Like, is Hillary Swank? I still
No, just keep going.
I wonder how
just,
she feels about that. Has she ever commented on it?
I don't care.
I think she's good. I think she's.
I know dangerous waters.
Good
When
looking, not hot though.
Let's just go. I don't want to get into
leave
this.
it alone. To say controversial. One day the stuff I say is gonna get me fired.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love Ben Affleck. I think he's a good actor. I think he's a great writer, director, creator. The Accountant, love The Accountant. There's so many Ben Affleck movies I really enjoy.
Sure.
And talk about Boomerang. When you throw that thing and it come back like 10 years later.
Yeah.
And come on. And
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not saying that she's better now, but Jennifer Lopez has aged with grace. So
far as we know, like I don't like. There's just I feel like when we look at like.
I mean, I don't know. I've
Especially
seen
like
her
Hollywood
post some bikini pictures and like.
But I feel like we can get very, and I'm not, look, all due respect, and I'm not commenting on her or her looks necessarily, but what I am saying is that I feel like, and there's this like weird thing now where like mostly speaking actresses over like a certain age of like maybe 40 something. I see like articles all the time for them of like specifically like, oh my God, look at her. She's in this bikini or she's in this whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like this weird obsession with older women as if to say like, these are the exceptions to the rules. And it's just like, why? Like what? Like I don't see them like Will Smith is damn near, might even be over 50. Tom Cruise is, well, although Tom Cruise is starting not to age. That fruit is starting.
He's getting younger for some reason. Did you see the trailer? We both saw the trailer.
No. I saw but I'm talking about Maverick. And he shot that like, that's like 3 or 4 years ago that they shot that because of the pandemic and all that shit. But seeing pictures of him now, I'm like, yo, fam, I don't know, man. You might want to.
You still look like.
Yeah, no, not even that. It's like you can kind of tell, like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
You can only slow aging for so long.
like I don't know who you're sacrificing.
You drink in the morning is eventually going to start to wear off.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. But anyways,
and then you're going to see a photo of him in his age 20 years. And
and you're like, wait. That's not Tom Cruise.
Yeah. It's like Tony Stark. Remember that serum Tony was taking to stop the metal from like getting into his veins, and then Tony was about to die, and then fucking Samuel L. Jackson's character gave him the serum at the
silver joint.
At the
I remember
diner.
that joint was like thick and silver.
Yeah,
it was like
listen, we got it. We saved it. Anyway, I mean, celebrities stop aging at a certain point. Well, they have got the best doctors and surgeons and makeup artists, so they can do that, but. It's nice to see this whole Bennifer thing back in play.
Yeah, fair enough. So Ben and J-Lo back together. Also, I guess something that boomeranged Curb Your Enthusiasm. Showed for.
Is it back?
It's going to be back. So it's confirmed
Larry
for
David
12th
does
season.
not age. He's been old.
He's been 89
for
literally like 5 decades.
Did you see? Remember the his wife in the show, Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah,
she still looks young as fuck too.
I don't know whatever serum
whatever that drinking or eating on
Tom
set.
Cruise got.
Yeah, they must have had that Jamaican food on set. If you listen to the last episode, you'll get that joke
for sure. I don't even get that joke, and I was here for the episode.
Remember, I was talking about as long as there's Jamaican food on the set, it's a good movie.
I must have been drunk, dude. I did not remember that at all. But
well,
shout out to Jamaica.
That joke?
I don't think he did.
That joke was always in the back of my mind. Listen,
he just had it loaded
anything
up.
Jamaican I love, so I'm always like pro Jamaica.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if it's Jamaican food anywhere, love it. It's the best.
Yeah,
Jamaican music,
it's the
Jamaican
best.
people. I mean, it's the best.
Anyways, I don't necessarily have the same. It's not that I'm not proud of my Nigerian heritage. It's just I don't have that same like everything we do is the best. Like I don't have that, but I don't have that about anything. Like I don't have that about like the U.S. Like I'm not like the U.S. is just great at. No, we're not. We're not great at everything. We're in fact we're pretty deficient in a lot of areas. Like it's like I'm willing to admit that no, we've got some improvements that could be made. You know, and I feel like and I used to think that I kind of just felt like that about uh, Nigeria, but I don't. I feel that way pretty much about everything. Like I'm never
growing up
too
here
high.
in America definitely does like your connection to like where you're from originally. It is a little bit different.
Well, and it might be different because I wasn't actually born in Nigeria. So maybe if I was born in Nigeria, like I would have some sort of deeper sense of like
wanting to like I need to
nationalism
know,
of Nigeria. But again, I was born in the U.S. and I'm not America. Like I don't really I'm like whatever. Okay.
See, I don't know. I feel like I've always like even though I came here when I was very young, I feel like I've always kind of like maintained that like love of like Jamaica and all things Jamaican.
Yeah.
And like food, our culture, our music, everything Jamaica. I love it. And fortunately, for such a small little island, we've produced a lot of great shit. So it's a lot to be proud of. You know what I mean?
There's a lot that's come out of
some
Jamaica.
of the best rappers in the world are Jamaican. You know what I mean? Biggie, Pac's mother is half Jamaican. Busta Rhymes' parents are Jamaican. You know what I mean? We got the fastest man in the world, and we got the fastest woman in the world.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cut you off here.
Anyway,
you're going off the deep end of
I had a whole list.
Yeah, you really did. But anyways, Curb Your Enthusiasm back for a 12th season. That it's been confirmed. So yeah, talk about things boomeranging. Curb Your Enthusiasm was off the air for I think like something like 10 seasons or 10 years or whatever, maybe even more than that. And then all of a sudden it's just like it's back and it just keeps going. It's just like we're never gonna stop.
There's
like,
so much content.
There's so much content. He's been doing the same thing for like the last like almost 12 seasons now.
But like just life in general gives you content.
It's just
like things
Larry
change,
David being
right?
a dick.
So now it's gonna be like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but now it's gonna be like they're gonna incorporate like fucking TikTok and TikTokers.
But I don't think I feel like
the current presidency and like shit going on in the world. There is the style of the show.
Yeah, it fits any sort of area.
The content is just readily available.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of I don't have an issue with Curb Your Enthusiasm. Hand to the sky here. Like I actually haven't watched all of Curb Your Enthusiasm, especially all of the later seasons. I got to about season 4, and then I had to stop. The reason why I had to stop is because my perception of humanity at that point was like at an all-time low.
That's my favorite time.
Yeah, I didn't think that much of humanity after. I felt pretty much like I did after watching Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad and Mad Men back to back, and I was just like, I no longer believe in humanity. Yeah, I was just like, everybody's terrible. Yeah. Everybody does shitty things, and we're no good can ever come from humanity.
There's a lot of bad people in both.
Terrible people. And then I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know why I said it weird like that, but I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I was just like, I can only watch so much of this before I'm just like, we're just all terrible. Like we're terrible because he does every fucking episode. He's just the worst person, and yet we look at him as like.
I love Larry David's character in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Is because like he's kind of like me in a sense.
No,
right? I'm kind of like him. Like want to say the inappropriate thing, like the thing that everyone's thinking, but it's like rude or disrespectful, inappropriate to say. Like I'm like, well, can I say it? You know what I mean? Like, and that's like what makes me happy is making other people uncomfortable or saying shit that's like not politically correct. So I can't wait for Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm happy Larry David's still alive to do it because he's old as fuck.
Yeah.
So season 12, is it like just season 12 or did they renew it for like 2 or 3 more seasons or something?
I think they're just doing season by season at this point, but I think it's just season 12.
You can't really sign Larry David up for like a 4-year contract.
No, that's a weird commitment. Yeah, because I feel like he'll just be like, I don't feel like coming back, guys. And we all know how he stepped away from his documentary, right? Like they were literally like a day or 2 away from putting out the documentary, and he was like, you know what? Yeah, let's not put that out.
Damn.
Yeah, and then he was just like, all right, I guess we're just not putting.
Do we still get paid?
I'm assuming the check's still cleared, but that remains to be seen.
Yo, whoever was like really like, we're gonna publish this thing, like we own the rights to this thing, and then he's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. We're like, fuck.
Yeah.
What do you do? Where did all the money go? It just disappeared.
I don't know.
Damn, someone was stuck with that bill.
But anyways, so we're getting season 12 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So that there's something to look forward to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of speed along here, as to stay on schedule because we have a habit of not staying on schedule.
Yeah, your fault.
Yeah, last week it was especially true.
I just like to, listen. It makes me feel better to blame it on you.
That's fair.
Just like what I do in my personal life.
It's your fault. It's your fault, not my fault. So we're gonna check out a trailer here in a sec. But right before we get there, dude, is there anything that you've watched recently? What are you watching right now?
You are gonna be disgusted with me.
Oh God, is it Love Island?
It's not on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Yes, we went back to season 1.
Oh my God, why?
Oof. Listen, because we hate ourselves. It's like it's a weird form of like punishment. And what is it called? Like the
masochist.
Is it masochist? Sexual
so.
Punishment or whatever?
I don't know.
It's a weird form of punishment. Like let's watch these people in the UK from 2016 make bad decisions. But it has, and it's
because it's not even like the sharpened, like they've got the technique down and everything.
This is like they're producing the show by the day. It's like okay, we kind of fucked up yesterday, but like let's do something different today. Yeah. It is very different from like the seasons you may have watched. A lot of shit I don't like. A lot of shit where I'm glad in later seasons they did away with that, but it's still like a good show overall. So yeah, doing that. Insecure.
How's Insecure going for you?
I think I'm in like season 3 or something like that.
How are you liking it?
Fucking love this show.
You for the longest time I'd mention Insecure and be like, yeah, whatever. I don't really
you know what? Because like I felt like I'd missed it. I'd missed the wave.
It just finished. Like
but like I would. Season
and it's only
5
like it only has 5 seasons. Like I gotta understand if something has like Harry Potter we talked about, right? And I was like, yeah, I've books. I can't do it. That's a commitment there. If I'm committing to fucking Harry Potter, either the books or the movies.
I don't know what it was, but I was just like, I just kind of felt like I was too late. Like I felt like all the Insecure jokes on like Instagram and Twitter were already told, and I'm just like, I already knew about. Damn, this nigga Lawrence he be tripping. And
yo,
be tripping.
Man,
like, you know what I mean? But like, and their relationship, I already knew about Issa and Lawrence's relationship, and before I even watched the show because of all the
a lot of debates,
tweets and shit.
A lot of debates about Issa.
But
where are you? What team are you on? What team do you ride?
Issa has a good heart, but she ain't shit.
I feel like she's human.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody. What that show is great at doing is painting humans.
Very true. Yeah. And I know like Lawrence gets a lot of shit, but like he's also very human.
Yeah, you see, so that's why I feel like you can't like. I know people were picking teams, and that's what we love to do as people.
Because what a lot of people would say is like Lawrence is a simp. You know what I mean? Oh, Issa cheated on him, so like you a bitch if you take her back.
I feel like that's the hallmark of a very and honestly, I kind of like this convo. Let's stay here for a second.
Men expect women to forgive infidelity, but whenever the woman is unfaithful or steps out, as a man, you're viewed as like a simp.
But again,
this
is, and again, I swore we were going to talk about Will Smith again, but I feel like this is why when all that shit happened at the Oscars, why I was saying this is the prime example of toxic masculinity, because it's at any cost. I cannot have my manhood checked, or I can't have my so-called my manhood tested, or I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it's just like at any cost I have to be aggressive, and I can't let anybody get one over on me, and it's just like when you deal with things like cheating and things like that. Now I personally I don't think I could ever put up with anybody cheating on me. Because
I listen to too much Future. I'm not. I mean, Valentine's Day the worst.
But it doesn't come from a place of, oh, nobody can disrespect me. I feel like it's more about like if you're not getting what you need out of the relationship, and then you're not getting enough so that you step out with somebody else, then that means that there's something lacking that we don't have here, that at that point, I feel like if you can't come to me and we can't work it out, and that's what you feel like you need to go do, then like it's at that point, I feel like, what are we fighting for? Now I understand accidents happen, things like that, but I also think that I know myself enough to know that I'm not going to get in. I know the risk. There's like a risk meter with everybody, and it's just like I keep that risk meter with the person I'm with. Like I'm in that relationship because I know that risk meter is low in terms of the likelihood that they'll step out because of their personality, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I put myself in those situations to be with somebody who's just like you're more likely than not, to step out.
I heard a great quote one time. I think this was like during like an interview, and it was a man and a woman. I don't know what show this was. I don't know when it was filmed. I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. But I just heard like a 30-second snippet of it, right? And the woman was talking about like it was a relationship show, and the woman was basically saying like I'm afraid to be in a relationship because I'm afraid of someone cheating on me, right? Yeah. And the guy she was speaking to, he was like, never be afraid of like if someone is going to cheat on you. What you should be afraid of is how you're going to respond to it, right? Because that is the true tell of who you are. Because you cannot control somebody else's actions. Whether you see it coming.
That can be said about literally anything.
Sure, right? But like, whether you don't see it coming or you see it coming, like you cannot control anyone's actions. So I'm never really like worried about like my girlfriend cheating on me. What I'm worried about is like if it happens, will I respond with anger? Will I internalize the emotion somehow? Will I not? Like how will I respond? And the way you should respond is to like take a second, think about, hey, like what do I want? Like can we work through this? Can we not work through this? And not be like fake to yourself. Because if you know you can't handle it, leave the relationship. If you know you're strong enough, I use strong lightly. But if you know you're strong enough, then maybe you stay. I don't know. And it's different for everybody, but like what you should, and I feel like this is in all situations, not just in relationships, even in work situations, right? It is not what happens, it is how you respond to what happens that really matters and like dictates who you are and like what happens next.
Yeah, like 100%. But I think that you could also, because like, so I don't think generally speaking, I'd react with like anger so much as just like, nah, this is over. Like for me at that point, like I feel like I know myself enough to know like, yeah, no, I don't think whatever's there is probably not there.
I know
anymore.
Me, I would carry that shit, and then like I know I would then use it to validate my own bad behavior.
Yeah, I also don't want to get into a battle of that because it's just like at that point it's just like what the fuck are we doing
wrong,
here?
Yeah, you wrong, but I'm gonna level up because like I'm in Miami. You know what
I mean? And so like when it comes to the whole Issa or Lawrence thing,
I don't fault either one of them.
No, I don't. Yeah. I think that it's a perfect storm, but I do commend them. Like as people, I do appreciate how they tried at least to make certain things work. Whether and I'll let you get to the end to see if it even approaches something that they're able to do anything with it. But what I can say is that if I were in that particular situation, I don't think I would be. I think I would kind of go the Lawrence route of just be like, especially at first, of just being like, nah, fuck this. I mean, I know they, eventually try to like kind of like, I don't know where you're at in season. I can't remember what happened in season.
So literally the last episode I watched is when, so Issa's trying to put on the festival in Inglewood because they went to like Coachella or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then she ran into Lawrence at like the film festival and she was like, oh shit, like it was good to see, and you could tell they were like flirting and vibing and had good energy despite everything that happened. So I feel like what's gonna happen next is like they're gonna get back together, they're gonna try it out. For whatever reason it's not gonna work because maybe it's just like bad chemistry. Like I feel like as two people that, oh, I like you so much, you like me so much, and like from across the street it's like, yo, this thing could work, but like once I cross that street it's like there's something that just isn't right. So we'll see. But watching Insecure, great show. Fucking love that show. As well as Moon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, we're second episode of Moon Knight now. I think the third episode's coming out this week. I think it's just okay, dude. There's nothing about it that's like tremendously exciting for me. And I guess I'm in the minority. I think there are a lot of people who I thoroughly disagree. You love it?
I love Moon Knight. I love what they're doing with it. I like how the story's being told. It's like chaotic and quirky and charming, but like all the Marvel shit you still want is there. And they're telling 4 different character stories. They're telling Mark's story. They're telling Steven's story. they're telling Moon Knight's story and they're telling Mr. Moon's story all at the same time, and they're doing it very well. So I appreciate
that's
that.
the part about it that I would disagree. I don't know if they're doing any one. I think maybe Steven, obviously, since he's been the one we've been tracking from the start, from the jump. I suppose that they're following his story pretty intently, and they're kind of telling a full-fledged story with that. But I would argue that with everybody else, not so much, which is fine.
So Steven is Mr. Knight, right? He's the blazer, not blazer. What is it called? The vest and the lapel and the tie, blah blah blah. Mark is Moon Knight. So I like how they're, there's it's like a V, right? There's Steven and Mark, and then there's Mr. Knight and Moon Knight, and like I feel like they're telling those two stories at the same time, and they're doing both justice.
But are we like right now? Like if I were to tell you, ask you like, who's Mark? I mean, you'd be able to say like, well, I guess he was a
Mark is he's a former like military assassin.
But like what his motivations are, those type of things. Now in episode 2, they kind of got more into that, and I understand that as it sort of goes along, that they'll be reviewed or they'll be explored.
Well, I'm cheating though because I've read I'm very familiar with this character in the comics and like how the different characters are portrayed and so on and so on. So I feel like what I love about it is that it's been consistent with what I know about the characters and like the comics.
Yeah, and I don't know if that. I mean, and I usually don't feel this way. Like for instance, I really like Loki, and I'm not at all. I never read Thor comics or really anything that had to do with like Loki. So, but I was still able to like appreciate it. Even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to some degree I appreciated it. I don't think it was quite as good as I was hoping it would be, but not that I really was expecting too much from it. What I'm trying to say is I can connect with the Marvel material without being tremendously familiar with the source material, right?
Yeah.
And with this Moon Knight, I like the premise for it, but I don't necessarily care for the execution. Just in and of itself. Yeah. Now I'm willing, I don't hate it. Like I'm not gonna stop watching it or anything like that. But I feel like the hype around it gives me shades of WandaVision, where everybody was hyping the fuck out of WandaVision.
I hated
and
WandaVision.
Then I really didn't even hate it. I just thought it was okay compared to how everybody was hyping it up.
I hated it. I watched it on fast forward. I hated it. Oh my god! I was so thankful it was over. But I knew I needed to watch it to understand Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. What I'm watching right now, I just went back and I'm in the middle of watching. And as you know, you make fun of me for watching like all this old shit. Angel. I just recently went back and picked up Angel. Dude, I fucking love that show, man. It's a great show. I think one of the reasons why I went back. So I started something new recently, literally actually today. And I think what I try to do when I'm doing something new, I feel like I try to offset it with something old. Like I feel like I try to put myself in. I try to ground myself versus just like I'm doing something new. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yeah.
I try to like offset that with like putting myself in not an old mentality, but just like something familiar.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Because bro, I don't know what it is, but over the past week or two, I've watched Blade 1, 2, or 3. I watched Blade 2 the other night for the second time within the past 2 weeks. Why, I don't know. I remember just sitting on the couch and I'm like, all right.
For the guy who doesn't watch any old shit.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting on the couch and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna watch a show. And I think, what show was I watching? I was finishing something up. Well, I think I was like, I'm gonna watch a show, but right now I don't feel like watching a show. I just want to watch a movie that I don't have to be super connected to. And I was searching for movies, and I'm like, oh, should I watch this? Fucking Argo? Should I watch fucking The Last Train to Busan? Should I watch this random shit? And in all the things I found, I was like, yo, the only thing that really piqued my interest was Blade 2. And I'm like, but damn, I watched this shit a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Hit play. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. And then after that, I started watching a show, but I needed that I needed to connect myself to something familiar before I can all right, now I'm ready for something new.
Yeah. So I started watching Angel, and again, there's a lot of things that you can gather from watching old shit, especially like when you have some distance. So it's been a while since I've gone back and watched it, and there are different things that I'm picking out of it. Like it's one of these things where I find the show as tragic because it's yeah, there's something going on.
There's a little bit of feedback here.
I don't know if I'm trying to see if I don't think it's my mic. It might be yours.
Some like light tapping here and there.
Yeah.
But we persist nonetheless.
Yeah, we persist. So it's tragic because it's about how and I hate to pull a Vin Diesel, but it's about family essentially, and how when we're in a family we can do horrible things to one another, right? But we can also bounce back from that, you know. But what's so tragic about Angel is that it felt like it got cut short because they were in the middle of their 5th season, and then they basically, I guess, got word down. They thought maybe we'd go on for another season or two, and then they just, they're like, no, this is it. We're gonna cancel you guys.
So they like rushed through.
So it
final,
felt rushed. The like they basically had to wrap everything up in the final like 5 episodes, and they weren't. It didn't seem like they were prepared for that at all at the time. Also, one of the main characters, Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia, she apparently, and we talked about this with the whole Joss Whedon thing, where she was pregnant in the 4th season, and she apparently wasn't, I guess, asked to come back, or they basically were just like, yeah, we're just not going to have you back, which is criminal, because for one, she was such a good, and no disrespect to her.
Integral part.
I don't know if she's a great actress, but I know she's perfect
for this role.
Mm-hmm. In this show. She was the heart of the show, essentially, and the fact that they didn't have her back was just like, what the fuck are we doing here, So the reason why I find it to be a tragic show is because it actually kind of mirrors life in a way of sometimes shit happens in life where things are like, this would be perfect, but it just doesn't come back together as it should. It's
like the thing is perfect, but the time is wrong.
Yeah, like so, or you can think about like friendships, or even if it's like a family, type of situation where, or maybe I'll just stick with friendships because that's what essentially this, it's about basically a group of friends who get together and basically just start fighting crime and shit. Yeah, not crime, but fucking demons and vampires and all this other shit, right? But it reminded me of getting older, that as we get older, friendships start to drift away, somebody moves over here, maybe somebody does something fucked up to somebody else and they just never really make up, and then suddenly 20 years has passed and shit like that. And it's just, I find that incredibly sad. Yeah. Because that's real life. Some shit just happens, and it's never quite the same, and as I'm watching the show, like I'm honing in on that, and especially as I get older and some of these friendships start going away. Some of these,
are you like watching old shows and like you're kind of like thinking back to how you were then and how you are now and like how your life is?
Yeah, I think I do that in general, but I think that specifically with Angel, I dread watching it. I love this show, but I dread watching it because I know
it's gonna remind you.
It's or not that it's going to, well, sort of that it's going to remind me, but like I know those times are coming in the show where it's just like, whether it was for some real, like with Charisma Carpenter, with her getting pregnant and then I guess not being asked to come back for the 5th season, or there's a very specific thing that happens with one of the characters where he betrays the title character Angel, and their relationship is just never the same after that. In some ways it maybe sometimes gets a little stronger, but it just it's never really the fucking same after that, like in the show, like they know after there's before this point and then there's after this point, and it's never quite the same. And I think that that's why I value so much giving yourself a chance in life, not doing anything so damaging that it just fucks up everything, because I feel like certain things you do, it's not that you can't come back from, but it's just like things aren't the same. Like after you do this thing, everything's fucked up. And you can put it back together, but it's never quite the same again.
I have to be thankful that or maybe I'm just unaware of it, right? But like I can't think of a moment in my life where I'm like, I was never the same after this thing. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Yeah. But I'm thankful that like I've not had that moment yet where it's like I'll never be the same person, and like not in a good way. Yeah. It's not like or you fall in love and you're like, I'll never be the same person again. Now I'm in love. Or I've had a child, but it's like even that is not like it is.
It doesn't
changed.
alter the DNA of who
It hasn't
you are.
changed me at my core.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a father now, right? And I have a kid, but like I'm still very much like who I was. Like I'm not like, well, I'm a parent now. That's my identity. It's a little bit different. Maybe it's a good thing, or maybe I'm just unaware of that the way that happened. But I do feel like the reason I've been watching Blade a lot lately is because everyone around me, you're watching Angel, you like Buffy. My girlfriend likes Vampire Diaries. Everyone around me watches shitty vampire shit, and I'm just like,
wait. Have you ever actually watched Angel?
Yeah. I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
Wait, what? So why do you think it's shitty?
Because it was shitty.
Why was it shitty?
Because it was. It's like 7-Eleven pizza. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Now we know these aren't fresh ingredients. Like, it's shitty, but it's $1. So like,
wait. So what's a good vampire story? If it were Blade, is Blade a good? Oh my god, get the fuck out of my face!
He's the Daywalker.
Shut up. Get the fuck out of here! Especially if you tell me that you rewatched Blade 3 and you can still with the straight fucking face.
Listen, Blade 3 is we all make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like,
as we just talked about, some things you just never come back.
Yeah, that might be it. Maybe it was Blade 3 when I watched it. I'll never be the same again. But every time I watch like a shitty vampire show or movie, I cannot help but to think, I wish Blade would just come through and slaughter all of these motherfuckers and just kill everybody in Mystic Falls.
You'll soon get your wish.
Edward, fucking Buffy. She didn't really do her job too well. Let Blade come in and Blade the Vampire Slayer. Show would have been one season. Everyone would have been dead. There would have been no Angel.
You see, but there's no the reason why I don't necessarily care for the Blade movies. There's a little bit of nuance there, but there's not enough nuance for me. I feel like as I'm going back through Angel, the plot line that I'm really sort of honing in on outside of just like the tragedy of it all is this idea of and it's been one that I've been writing about, that I've been just wrestling with for like the longest time now, which is, and I didn't know this at the time of watching it. This is all the way back in like 2004 is when it ended, I think. Yeah, I think it ended in 2004, somewhere 2003, 2004. But the idea of determinism versus free will, right? Is everything that we do determined, for us ahead of time? Like, are we just the natural conclusions to this unwinding story since the beginning of time? Like since like the Big Bang, right? Is everything that's happening, was it always just meant to happen because it all started and it's just unfolding this way? Or do we have free will? Can we determine our own fate? Can we determine our own future? And that's one aspect of it that I appreciate but when I watch Blade, I just see him killing vampires. Like, I don't really see too much thinking.
To me, that's free will, right? Yeah. Like when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, I don't think that was determined by God 1,000 lifetimes ago.
But it doesn't even mean. I guess that there are those out there.
I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, everything that is like, it's all a part of like God's plan.
No, but you see, but this is not necessarily. It's different than that, in that it's not saying that it was determined by like God. It's just saying that everything, like there was no other way that this could have turned out other than the way it has, because it all unfolded from the same event. You know what I mean? Like, so it's saying that if we rewound the clock to the Big Bang, right, and it happened again, everything would happen literally exactly the same because it all came from the same place.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, in my opinion, your story is like rewritten based off of the decisions you make, right? And if you make one decision differently, especially like some of the bigger, more important decisions, right? Like, let's say you get into 2 colleges and you decide to go to one versus the other, I feel like your story changes. It has to change.
No, but
you're going to meet different people. You're going to be in different classes. You're going to be in a different physical location.
That's where no. It's but you're talking like so you're I think that's more of my thought process is that like we can choose, that we have choice, right, in what we do. But what a hard determinist would say is that literally, even if you have two choices and you choose one, it was always
Like you were always
predetermined
destined to choose one.
and it's different from the sort of like the godly way of looking at it, of like God determined this for me, right? It's like, no, it's just like, it's just literally, this is the natural conclusion. And it's saying that that's determined because your everything, like whether it's your predisposition in terms of just like who, like the DNA and shit like that was combined in order to make you,
Yeah.
as well as your experiences have all, like, even if you have the choice of like, hey, I wanted to eat pizza for lunch today, right? That is like conditioning from years of, maybe you've seen ads for fucking pizza, maybe you just ate a lot of pizza as a kid, and then to the natural conclusion of, okay, today you decided to eat pizza, not because you're just like, I just randomly want to eat pizza, but because somewhere in your mind that decision, like, so the way to think about it is like, you're not, as you make sort of these decisions, it's not you that's like the idea of us.
Yeah.
It's not, we're like, who is actually making that decision in our brain? Like if I was just like, I want some whatever it is, right? I want some candy or whatever. Like I want some fucking Skittles, as we talked about before. Who's actually like making that decision? Like because I'm just randomly, if I'm thinking I'm just randomly making that decision, where the fuck does that come from? Like, is that just, is that, like, where does that decision get, like, but that decision gets made somewhere in my brain that happens. And a determinist would say that, yeah, it's because of just all this other shit that happened before that led to this, versus some person who would really believe in just, sheer free will of just like, yeah, like, no, you're just making that choice spontaneously in this moment.
Yeah. I think people think too much. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's why you like Blade.
God damn.
That's why you like Blade, yeah.
Stop thinking and just fucking live and enjoy. Like, I feel like in America, everything there has to be a word for everything, right? Oh, you're this type of way? Oh, you're a fucking, what were you calling? A thinkist? A determinist? Right? And you're the other way. That means you're, what is the other thing?
Free will.
A free willist.
Free will.
Right? And it's like, yo, no, bitch. Like, I was hungry.
No,
I got a
bitch.
pizza. Like,
No. Okay. So,
you know what I mean?
So this is,
I'm hungry.
You make an interesting point. So my contention is that, even if determinism is real and there's nothing we can do to avoid, like we're just on this path and there's nothing, it was always going to be this way. I still feel like even if you know that, unless you know what the grand master plan is, it doesn't really fucking matter. So why don't you just live your life as if you had free will? Yeah. So I think we're in agreement there. Yeah.
So like my girlfriend, she's big on like, she's like, we're so different in so many ways. And it's like, I like to think about the future and what happens in the afterlife, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
I don't like, why do I care about something that has not happened yet that may never happen, right?
Yeah.
So like what I will do, I care about now. The decisions I make now, how I feel now, the people I'm with now.
Interesting.
And then
Angel actually has a quote about this.
Really?
Where he says, if nothing that we do matters, then all that matters is what we do. And I've always tried to like think about like exactly what was meant by that line, but the gist of it that I bring out of it now is that, look, if we're saying all this means nothing at the end of the day, then all that matters is the individual things that we do, because that's all we got. That's all we got right now.
Exactly. If nothing matters, then all that really matters is like what you do and the things that matter to you. So you should live your life based off of the things that matter to you.
Yeah.
The people you love, the things
but
you want to do.
I think there's certain people that struggle with that because so me in my life, I have a particular thing that like is like a goal. Like there's a thing that I want to do, right? And that I'm like that I'm.
Has that goal reshaped over time? Was it the same goal 10 years ago?
Honestly, yeah, which I find incredibly sad. But yes, it was essentially like the same goal, right? Which is ultimately like I want to direct and I want to make movies, right?
Yeah.
That's like my goal, right? But I've taken a very stupid path in trying to get there, right? Now I'm kind of happy with where the direction that's going in. Now it's still in a roundabout way, but I still feel like eventually like I'll get to where I'm trying to go. But I think that other people struggle because they don't have like that same thing that they don't, the reason why you'd wonder about the afterlife or things like that is because it's in this life, you don't have like a goal here that you're like, this is the thing that I'm trying to get to. And so I don't feel sorry for those people necessarily, but like I feel for them in terms of like, that has to actually kind of suck a little bit that you don't have like an aim here that you're trying to like fucking aim for. Because I hear people say that all the time. It's like, I don't have a passion, or I don't have a thing that's like my thing.
I've had many conversations with people who would say that, right? I don't have a passion, right? And it's like, it's several things happening there. Either it's like they haven't looked or tried hard enough, or
I see, this is something that I would say myself, but I don't think that that's true. I think I've kind of flipped how I feel about that.
Or the other side is, you just haven't found it yet, and that's perfectly fine. Like, if you don't find your passion until you're 40, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't find it until you're 50.
But I also don't, but that's a tough ask, right? To have somebody be like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do until I find my passion, and I'll probably find it if I'm like 50 or something, but you know, as
so
of right
let's
now,
say you find your passion at 40, right?
Yeah.
Up until the time you're 40, you just, you know, and I'm not saying every day you have to prepare yourself for when the thing comes that you don't know it's coming, but just like, focus on just being happy, you know. But
that's just it. When you talk about the basic idea of what life is, which is it's a complex sort of this like it's like this hodgepodge of like different emotions and different things, and we go through peaks and we go through valleys and things like that. And generally we're trying to be happy, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're happy all the time, right? Which is perfectly
happiness fine. All the time
is reckless. Yeah,
it's for children.
Yeah,
grow up. Yeah. The fuck, you want to be happy all the time? I don't even know if I want to be happy all the time.
Then you're never happy.
Yeah. Because sometimes being sad, sometimes I want makes you appreciate to feel sad, right? Yeah. Sometimes if I'm angry, I'm like, yo, fuck it, I'm angry right
now. I pause there. I don't know if I'd want to be sad. I think that I understand that that's natural.
I think sometimes there's an appreciation for like sadness that we miss.
Coming from a person who like I am, you know, what they call like melancholy, or you know,
pour a little bit more, but I will.
Hey, careful, just a little taste, just a little taste. Just all right. You're good. Yeah. But
yeah, you lost your whole train of thought.
No, I'm good. I got it back.
Save me.
I got it back. I'm not trying to save you. I for the longest time I feel like I was sort of not obsessed, but like in love with the idea of like, oh, like the broken artist, or like, you know, somebody who's tragically wounded, and like, you know, I feel like maybe that's what inspires, you know,
your
good
writing
work
or your
and
work,
things like that. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that you go through shit in life, and it's good to reflect on that and to think about it, and to think about it in like critical ways. But I don't think that necessarily means like it's fun to be sad, you know. And I think that I used to think like that. But I think that the problem with that is that you then can make weird associations, right? Then you can start thinking like, just like you said, like, oh, it's good to be sad. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't think it's good to be sad. I think it's just an acceptance that sometimes you will be sad, you know?
I think it's reality, right? For me, that's how I look at it. Like, realistically, there are times you're going to be sad.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. And I appreciate that there's some people who like don't go through the range of emotions, right? Or who don't recognize their own emotions, right? And they can't like think back on, hey, this is how I felt at this time, and here's why. And I appreciate the fact that, and this is just like self, you know, understanding yourself, right? I appreciate the fact that the emotions I go through and the ranges of emotions I go through, like sometimes I understand it, sometimes I don't understand it, and that's it. I don't need to understand why I don't understand.
No, that's okay. Now we're not even talking about movies and shit. You know what?
No,
I don't even care. Let's just ride this out. Let's just ride this out.
You're in for a different show.
Yeah. No, but we can still tie this back into movies and shit. But
this is why Everything Everywhere All the Time was so great.
Is it because
this conversation we're having? Yeah. You'll probably think back to this conversation when you're watching the movie. I'm not going to spoil it.
Stop talking about the movie. Okay, I don't want to build up any more anticipation than I already have for it. Fuck. What was the last thing you just said?
What I said was, I do not always need to like, if I feel a way and I understand it. Yeah.
No, I think it's very critical actually to know why we feel, because
I feel like it's arrogant.
Why do you feel like it's arrogant?
So
That's
I feel
an interesting way of looking at it.
For example, I'm not religious.
Sure.
And when I look at everything I've heard and I've read and I've seen about God and all these. I feel like it's man who's created what we think God is, and then we've chosen to believe in what we think the thing is, right? So I feel like religion is kind of arrogant because it's like, how the fuck could you possibly know what it is that created us?
But that's
and blah blah blah.
so.
And I feel like to think that is arrogant,
No.
and to think that you can understand all of your emotions, why you feel the way you feel, why other people feel the way they feel. You can define everything. You can create a word for everything. It's arrogant. Some things are not meant to be understood. Sometimes you feel sad. You don't know why. You feel the way. Be thankful for those feelings and like the fact that you do have those feelings. Learn from it. Move on.
But that's just it. But that's a statement that people say often, which is learn from it. But
maybe you don't learn from it. Maybe you just felt it. Maybe I feel like sometimes your emotions are just like the breeze. I don't know where it came from, but I felt it.
No, but it is good to understand, because you have to interact with other people. It is good to understand where your emotions come from, because sometimes you can interact with people and not. We were just talking about the relationship between Issa and Lawrence before, right? And how we would react in certain situations, and the ability to understand how you're going to react. You even said it yourself, right? It's not the event that happens itself, is your reaction to the event that matters, right? So how else can we predict how we're going to react to a situation, right? How else can we manage? Like, so if something happens, right, you either can have techniques that you use to manage how you're going to react to it. It's how people don't end up just like, somebody could cut me off in traffic. I could fucking have road rage, because Lord knows I can fucking have road rage. And it takes a little of me resetting myself to understand that's not what I want to do, and I have little techniques of how I can get myself out of that headspace. So understanding my emotions can help guide me in terms of how I react to any sort of given situation, right? It doesn't mean that I'm going to be excellent in reacting to all situations. I'm not a fucking robot, but at the same time, it can help manage how I react. And that's where understanding yourself and analyzing yourself comes in handy. It's not just for the sake of doing it. It's so that when we have situations presented before us, it's not a mystery in terms of what we're going to give back in that situation, right? It's like, this thing just happened. I can understand how and it's how people sort of can manage, like, especially when you have like anger issues.
Yeah,
it's how you can sort of manage that, because it's like, all right, I'm not just, how people say, oh, I blacked out, or I just saw red, or whatever. I feel like that's, and I know some people are gonna hate that I say this, but it's
a bit of
like,
a cop out.
It's a cop out, because it's like, well, I just didn't for that, Will Smith probably said I blacked out, when I went up there and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. It's like, nah, I think you lost control for a second, and that was your excuse for losing control. Is that I just blacked out. I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think like when you're interacting with other people, you should be more aware of like, why do I feel the way I feel? And like, I never really ask myself how. Like, I don't ask myself like, what do I feel? I ask myself, why do I feel the way I feel? Right? Like, is it? And it usually comes down to control, right? Because you can't always control.
But how can you separate the two? How can you not understand what you're feeling if you don't understand how you, or vice versa, or you can't understand how you feel if you don't understand what you're feeling?
So look at the words you use.
Yeah.
How and what.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like
isn't that what you just said?
The word I use is why.
Or
right? I know how I feel. I know what made me feel the way I feel. Why did I feel the way I feel about what happened? Right. And I feel like once you continue to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why did that word trigger me? Why does that person have so much power over my emotions? Mm-hmm. Why does this situation cause me so much anxiety?
Yeah.
And you continue to ask yourself why. What you're going to find is that like sometimes there's an answer to it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's not. And you have to
one might argue, but this is actually kind of, weirdly enough, this is actually a determinism versus free will conversation, because you're saying that there's no answer to it. And I think what I actually believe, or I guess what a determinist would believe, is that there's absolutely an answer for it. It's just you can't get out of your own way to see it, or you can't.
But what if there is no answer?
There is an answer. There's always an answer. Our brains are made up of chemical, there's chemicals going on in our brains. Sure, right?
We can try and answer all the questions, but what if there's no answer?
But there is an answer.
So here, I feel like here's the difference between us.
Sure.
I accept the fact that maybe there's no answer, and that's it. And I'm willing to accept that, and I'm at peace with that. Like there's not always an answer. It's like how I feel or what I do.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Here's the greatest test of what you're saying. Have you ever been to therapy?
Yeah, I went to couples therapy with an ex. Bad idea.
Okay, I'm just talking about you, just you therapy.
No, but I would be open to it,
and that's fair. But I think that's why I'm like, so it's easy for you, and I'm not saying this to be combative. What I'm saying is, it's easy for you to say that there is no answer if you haven't found an answer, because you never actually have to prove. Like it's hard to falsify. There's this great thing that I watched from fuck it, what's it called?
But I feel like that is the when I talk about arrogance, that is the thing that I'm talking about. Is that we are so, as a people, and I'm not coming at you. I'm just saying generally.
Yeah.
I feel like we as a people, sometimes we can be so arrogant to think that we can define, understand, label. We have a word or a phrase or we're able to like package everything up.
But if you don't, I guess what I'm saying is it's the same way that I can say that I can could be a doctor if I wanted to, right? The truth is,
not everybody, not everyone should.
But that's kind of what I'm saying, is that how do I know that unless I actually tried to become a doctor, right? Like, there's no way that I could fucking know if I could or couldn't unless I actually tried to do it, right?
See, I know I couldn't because I don't value all human life. So I'm like, man, what happened to this motherfucker? Nah, bro, get him out of here. I'd be like,
Jesus Christ. Okay. Not all life is sacred for a rain. I think
I'd be like, let me try and get in here and pass me the scalpel. Man, fuck this.
You see, you'd be like that lady. There was a lady recently who said like somebody like fucked up her like pronouns, so she just like she was doing some sort of test, and she was
my pronouns. Oh my god, that's such.
No, that's the same shit you just said. Whoa. It's because something. It was
you
something
called
petty.
Me he instead of they. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nah, that's the same shit you just said. You said somebody. What'd you do? All right, fine. I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Well, no, I mean like bad people, right? Like, because let's say
what's a bad person.
Let's say someone like gets shot, like, and this happens all the time.
You're gonna go with the easiest example of this.
No, let's say someone hurts themselves doing a bad thing, right? Sure. Like, let's say someone got shot robbing a bank, and during that bank robbery, they like shot 3 other people. Mm-hmm. But because you're a doctor, you're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to take sides. You're not supposed to treat your patients differently. Whether it's a good patient or a bad patient, you're supposed to, preserve human life. Mm-hmm. If I knew that, hey, this person is someone they just tried to rob a bank,
what I'm saying,
I'm like,
for situations like that, it might be easier for you to determine that, oh, this is a good person versus a bad person. But what if it's a cloudy situation?
Fucking Bengals fan on the table, and I'm like, did y'all win the Super Bowl though? Your life is
they're not even your enemies.
I know, but they thought they were.
Yeah. Okay. So back to this, because I really appreciate this conversation, but I can't know that I can or can't be a doctor if I've never tried, right? So I can't go boasting one way or another. But because it's no, forget the interest. What I'm talking about is the actual implication of what I'm saying, right? If I say that I can be a doctor, right? Well, how do I know if I haven't tried? If I'm saying I can't be a doctor, how do I know if I've never actually fucking tried? Either statement can be true, but how the fuck would I know unless I actually tried it, right? So, which is why I'm relating that to what you're saying, is that you're saying, well, these things are not known. How some things, I accept that some things are not known, but it's like, well, how can you know it if you never actually search for the actual answer? It's different if you search for it and then you don't find it. Yeah. That's one thing. But if you've never searched for it, how the fuck do you know?
But see, I'm at peace with not searching for something.
That's different. That's different. Saying that there is no answer is different than saying that I'm at peace with not knowing. Right? Those are two different things.
I don't look at them too differently, right? So, like, here's how I view, for example, Dr. O'Rain, Dr. Finley, right? I never pursued that thing. I never wanted to. And I'm at peace with that. Now, I could have been a great doctor. I had no interest in ever going to medical school. Yeah, because that didn't call to me.
But you see,
I'm at peace with that.
But you see, that being at peace with not being a doctor is different from saying that you're saying definitively that you could or couldn't be a doctor. Like, do you see the difference between that? That sure. In one aspect, it's you're saying, oh, I'm fine with this not being a thing, right? In the other aspect, you're saying definitively this thing would or wouldn't have happened. But it's just like, well, how do you know unless you've actually done the thing? But I guess that's what I'm saying to you is that you're saying you're at peace with whatever the thing is, right? That if something happens, that you're just at peace with not knowing why you reacted in a certain way.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that it's helpful to understand why you reacted and to define how you acted, and then understand why that you reacted that way, in order either to elaborate on it, or to say that's not actually the way. I'll give you this, and this is kind of an embarrassing scenario. So I was at a bar once, right? And I was
What
there.
bar? Where? Give us. We
This is
need.
Baltimore
I
City.
need details.
I don't fucking remember what bar. It was some random. I was
Hampton.
I was gone that night.
This was last week. Remember we went out last
No,
couple weeks?
this is years ago.
Yeah.
But I was with some people, and long story short, I was there with somebody who I wasn't really like interested in, but kind of not interested in, but like I was just like open to the idea of it. Maybe
I'll let it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so at the bar, there was a guy, and he was like flirting with her, right? And then for some unknown reason, and this has never been me. I've just historically have never been this type of person, but I shoved him. And he was just like flirting with her. And I'm like, and she's single, I'm single, like we're not together at all, like anything like that. And in that moment, I didn't understand why I did that. Like I wasn't even trying to like get with her or anything like that. And I could sit here and just blame it on the alcohol or whatever the case is. But there was something about that moment that I was just like, that was weird. Like that wasn't me and how I know me. So I want to understand why I did that, and be able to diagnose that so that doesn't happen again, because that's not who I want to be.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think a situation like that, yes. Right? In a situation like that, I would want to understand, like, why did I do that? Am I just drunk? Is this like, do I feel emasculated because here's this other man flirting with a woman that I'm interested in?
He was shorter than me, and I did feel a type of way. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do feel
this guy.
I'd be at the gym. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be at the gym sometimes, and if I see a dude, I'm like, yo, you don't got like 225 on the bench minimum?
Get out of here.
Fuck off the bench. Let some real motherfuckers get in here.
Yeah.
But that's why little dudes always carry guns. You gotta be worried about little motherfuckers because they've been pushed around their whole lives.
Yeah, Napoleon complex.
Yeah, they've always got one or two straps on them. So be careful with the little guys.
Yeah.
But so in a situation like that, because that's like a human interaction, right? You're interacting with other people.
But that's notice what I said earlier, which is it'd be fine for you to be okay with not understanding how you're reacting if it was just you, but you have to interact with other people, meaning that like it matters how you react in situations because other people like are involved. So I think that's the reason why I find it important to understand ourselves. You know,
I think my perspective is I do my best to understand. I try and understand. I ask myself the why question in most situations. Why do I feel the way I feel? Why did I respond the way I respond? Why did I say what I say? Why do I think what I'm thinking? And whenever I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't really know why. In some situations, I go further. I'm like, no, there is an answer. Like maybe I'm just hiding it from myself. Maybe I'm not being honest with myself.
How are you being objective? Like you're not an objective.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to be objective with yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So then how do you?
But like all I have at the end of the day, all you really have is yourself. And like you have to be.
There's a lot of tools and things out there. There's a lot of things that can help you.
Yeah, sure. There's WebMD, but like I mean, no matter what I read on WebMD, I'm still Rain is still going to have to solve that and figure that shit out. For me, I am comfortable.
But that's like saying like I'm working on a car, and I don't have a specific tool, so I'm just like, fuck it. Like, a mechanic, like no, I'll go buy the tool.
Does a mechanic really understand like the complex engineering and how like the molecules work like at a molecular level? Like when I put engine oil, I mean
especially with oil and shit.
If I'm a
wouldn't
mechanic,
it help them understand?
I'm thinking about like how the thing works mechanically. I'm not
if you're
necessarily a chemist who understands the chemistry behind oil.
If you're an okay mechanic, sure, you just go with whatever the result is. You're like, well, I don't know what the fuck that shit does, but it works, right? But I feel like that's what the difference is between a mechanic and me. I can understand that the oil makes the fucking car go, so every 3 months or so I have to change the oil in the car. That's me. I have a very rudimentary understanding.
Your
of
average mechanic knows how to like. They know the mechanics behind the machinery, right? How this thing, when I turn this thing does this thing to this thing, which does the engine propulsion, which allows the vehicle to move, and you need oil. But they don't understand the chemistry behind
I feel
engine
like,
oil.
but that's what makes a mechanic.
There's a difference between a mechanic, an engineer, and a chemist who creates the oils that the engineers use.
No, but I think it helps. Helps
mechanics
the mechanic.
are maintenance.
No, that's fair. But it helps the mechanic to know, like, even if you say that. Even if you say that a majority of mechanics don't know that, that's fine. What I'm saying, it's better for a mechanic to know that, so that they could know, okay, if this happens, then this might be a likelihood, right? And that's really all that life is right? Is us saying that, hey, when this thing happens, then this might be a natural result. So as we sort of,
I don't care if my mechanic, if I ask my mechanic, hey, what's the difference
that's
between
because
5W30 and OW40? They're like, one is thicker.
Yeah,
for like older cars. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. But that's for you. That's not for the mechanic's understanding. So in that situation, you wouldn't be you. You would be another person interacting with you. Because if you, in your analogy, like in that situation, what I'm saying is, you as the mechanic, you might know the chemistry behind it of like how it works, because it benefits you to know that. The other person might not give a fuck, because they're just the other person. They're like, I don't care. Like, even if you were explaining it to them, they're like, I don't care. Just fucking, does it help my car go? Cool.
Yeah.
Great. We're out of here.
But
right?
Even as the mechanic, you may just be like, yo, I don't know the chemistry. I just know that
I'm not arguing with
the manufacturer recommended oil.
But again, that's not what my argument is. My thesis here is that it would, even if a majority of mechanics don't know that, it benefits them to know that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean necessarily they have to know it, right? As human beings, we're all really fucking stupid, especially about ourselves, right? We barely know ourselves. We barely use our entire brains.
It benefits us all to know. And I think
more about ourselves.
Now, granted, this is like a profession. This could somebody's life could be on the line if you don't do that. If you don't change these brakes right, if you don't put that tire on right, and someone's on 95 going 95, that's the different story. But my original point is that I'm one of those people who I respect the fact that I understand my emotions, and I feel like I understand a little bit about who I am. But I know I don't understand everything.
Yeah,
I don't need to understand everything.
It's hard for you to be objective about that statement, though. And again, like, I think that's where we vehemently sort of disagree.
Yeah, I would say it's easy for me to be objective about that statement.
It's not. How is it? That's like saying, like, you can step outside of yourself and be like, "Hey, self." It's like you can't. Like, you need.
I can't.
You need to bounce that. Only that's like people saying that. It's like calling yourself a genius, right? You can't really call yourself a genius. Other people have to call you a genius. Have you seen the Kanye documentary? I know, exactly. And what does he say in the documentary? The dude, I remember he was arguing with the dude.
Talking to, was it Rhyme Fest?
He was, I forget, I don't know who the dude he was talking to. He was just like, well, like, I love you, dude.
Rhyme Fest was saying, like, you can't label yourself a genius.
He's like, look,
someone else has to call you a genius.
I love you and I appreciate you, but you can't fucking call yourself a genius. Other people have to fucking call you a genius.
And then what did Kanye say when he was on an interview with Oprah? Kanye was just like, I advocate for the best, right? Like, whatever the best is at the time, I advocate that.
But what does that have to do with
And then at the time, I was the best, so I'm a genius. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I love the fact that
that's not what a genius is, though.
I love the fact that Kanye calls himself a genius, because you should feel that way about yourself. And it's like, I don't need someone else to validate who I am or how I feel about myself.
Bro, yeah, go ahead and hit up that therapy, dude.
I mean, sure,
hit it up.
I would love to explore that further, but I mean, no, that's just kind of how I live my life. Like, I don't live my life based off of other people's validations. Like, I'm sure there are people out there.
I don't think that has anything to do with.
But a lot of people do.
Sure, and I'm not. And they also need therapy, right? There are a lot of people who live for people's validations, but I guess what I'm saying is different in that how we see ourselves is fundamentally different than how others perceive ourselves, and there's only certain things we can tell by getting other people's opinions about us, right? Because there's been a number of situations that I've been in that I might have a perception of how I reacted, what I said, what I did, and what my mannerisms were. But there's only there's only a true reflection within myself when I'm able to gain somebody else's perspective on me, right? Like I can't. I can't see me, especially when like there's certain facial expressions that I'll make when somebody's saying something that I have no idea that I'm even fucking making, with the exception of somebody saying, "Hey, what the fuck's wrong with your face right there? You didn't react a certain way." You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much I can tell about myself. I have to have somebody to be able to sort of be that sort of objective. Hey, this is how you're reacting in a situation, or this is what my read of you is in this situation. You know?
Yeah, there's a song. I believe this song is called like "There's a Storm on the Way." It was off of the Gnarls Barkley Saint Elsewhere album, and in that song he says this quote, and this has always resonated with me very much. He says like, there's a line in the song he's talking about going to therapy. He's like, "Why do I need someone else to tell me who I am? I am the way," and essentially that was like, "I am the way I am." And it's like, I can come to you and we can talk about it, but I'm still going to be the way I am. Maybe I'll understand it a little bit differently.
Not necessarily.
Maybe I'll understand it better. Maybe I won't. But like, do you have the answer?
What my question for that is, what is the fear of it though? Like, I guess that's
I mean, I think for me,
to me it would be fear, because that'd be like the difference between, that's like somebody saying, hey, you can read it. It's just like the doctor example I gave you before. It's like, hey, if you keep reading this book, you can become a surgeon. And it's just like, well, I don't really need to read the book.
I'm just gonna do BBLs.
Yeah. It's like, but wait.
Yeah, I love the fact that joke hit you late. You're like, wait, that's no.
I was continuing the thing, but like, yeah, just like, no, you could just read the book and like do the shit. But instead, it's just like, nah, I'm not gonna read the book, and I'm still gonna just do the shit. And it's like, well, okay, but like, well, what's the fear of reading the book though? You know what I mean? Like, why not read the book? Like, if it's not, and it's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed that you're going to become a surgeon after reading this book, but it's the likelihood that you're going to become a surgeon increases after reading this book. It's, to me, it would have to be a fear of it in order not to engage with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because like, and honestly, I say that from experience of like doing new things. Sometimes is scary for me, and usually like the reason behind it is because I don't believe that I'm going to be good at that thing. So when I hear somebody say like, oh, you know, I don't want to do something, generally speaking, I'm like, I associate that with
like failing at it in the beginning.
Exactly.
But they don't realize that you have to fail in the beginning to get good at it.
Or what it's going to reveal about yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that when I hear you say like, nah, I think I'm just me and that's just what I am, I feel like what that screams to me is that I'm afraid of what I might find if I start peeling back that
no, but see, like even when I say like I am who I am, I'm very comfortable with myself. I would love to go to therapy, right? Like, and I a couple months.
I'm gonna start it up, dude. Your kid just got back into the.
You got medical insurance. But, so I called my insurance provider, and like they were like therapy is covered, occupational therapy. But you can see any therapist. You just have to submit your like claim or whatever. It's occupational therapy, and it's included in my coverage, right? So, and there's like several near me. There's a chiropractor near me. I'm going to schedule that this week. Remind me.
Were you talking about? Were you the one talking to me about chiropractor?
Probably, yeah. Because like after my Achilles injury, like I feel like my hip is displaced.
Oh yeah.
Because I was in a boot for a while. I gotta watch this cord. So I'm definitely going to go to a therapist or chiropractor, but I also want to do like therapy. I want to go to couples therapy with my girlfriend. I want to like do all that. I'm not afraid of what I may discover. I'm actually excited about what I may discover. I don't. Yeah, and I'm not too arrogant to think that I won't change, but I'm also like,
it's also not about,
if something changes, great. If nothing changes, great.
Exactly. But I guess that's what I'm saying is that you don't like, we don't know, like we could go to therapy and be like, all right, like I still feel pretty much the same as I did beforehand, or you go and it could be like a revelation. It who the fuck knows, right? Like, but it's like, but why not try to discover like
people who are afraid of therapy are very like, it's like, I mean, that's real fear. It's like, yo, I'm so afraid of understanding who I am that like, but at the same time, that the reason why that line always resonated with me, because it's like, because like even in therapy, you may only reveal like 50% of yourself. A lot of times people are not even really fully honest with themselves or their therapist in therapy.
But why? But the question would be then why not? Why not?
Sure, that's a fair question to ask. Like, and who knows what that answer may be? But like,
Yeah, that's what you're.
Yeah.
You see this redundant circle.
No, but like so, but we're also still talking about a very real thing. There are a lot of people.
sure.
There are a lot of people who go to therapy.
I'm not doubting
and
that
they're
one
only
bit, yeah.
50% honest with their therapist.
Sure.
So how could their therapist ever help them better understand themselves if that person in the beginning was only 50% honest?
Well, again, my question then would be, why doesn't that person like? What are they afraid of that they don't want to like reveal themselves in order to get to like that the rest of
there
that
may be an answer to that. There may be like
there
no
definitely,
answer to that.
but they're either way they're afraid of the answer to that. Is what I'm saying. Whether there's something crazy behind it or not, they're afraid of it because they won't reveal it. It like that's a weird thing to me to be like, hey, I'm not going to tell you 50% of the thing, and I'm also not afraid of what's in that 50%. Because it's like, well, why not share the rest of that?
Yeah.
Why not share the 100%?
Listen, it might be illegal. I don't know.
Well, hey,
Who knows?
it's between you and the thing. Unless somebody's in imminent danger.
Yeah.
It's between you and your thing. You know what I mean?
Confidential.
Yeah, confidentially agreement. Look, let's move on. Super quick. I only want to spend about maybe 15 minutes more with this. Let's
Holy
talk super
shit.
quick. We're going to talk about.
That was a great conversation.
That was
We're
a
at
great
8:55.
conversation, dude.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
conversation.
Listen, we're gonna spend about like another like
we had some
15,
trailers.
30 minutes here.
Yeah, we had some trailers. I'm going to go ahead and skip those. Although we own this city. Just dropped the trailer, and I might just watch it just now because. But it's about the Baltimore City police officers. It's supposed to be sort of like the natural successor to The Wire.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll check that trailer out next week. Two things I want to talk about before we get out of here. For one, I want to talk about this just because I know it's gonna. You talk about why you feel certain ways and why you don't. I don't know why you hate Brie Larson so much, but we're gonna talk about Brie Larson.
I just saw she's been in a lot of Nissan commercials lately.
She
and I'm
has
like, I'll never buy.
And do you know why?
Because she is essentially like the actress equivalent of a Nissan Sentra.
Jesus Christ! No, not at all.
Reliable.
You know why she's in the whip? Oh, come on. What franchise is she going to be a part of after being in whip so much?
After being in Nissan commercials, nigga, I don't know. Manufacturing commercials.
Who else would have plenty of Nissans in their movie that is centered around cars?
Let me ask that question. Transformers.
Oh my God, really?
Hold up. Who would have plenty of Nissans? Michael Bay. She in. I mean, they're easy to blow up.
Dude, this is mind-boggling how you're not immediately getting this. Fast and Furious.
I saw that,
Yeah.
but like, I mean,
I didn't really understand it either.
Yeah.
I was like,
no,
all
granted,
right.
a GTR.
Oh, you're
Paul
talking
Walker-
about Nissans?
Paul
They
Walker
had plenty
did-
of fucking Nissans.
Paul Walker did drive a GTR. That was his car.
Yeah, they had plenty of Nissans in Fast and Furious.
Oh, God, okay.
Over
Brie
the-
Larson, she's in Fast 10.
She's going to be in Fast 10.
Fast 9 was horrific.
I
It
haven't
was
watched
so
it.
bad.
I haven't watched
To
it.
join Fast and
Yeah,
Furious
it's an odd.
this late, it's like,
when I heard this, I wasn't even like, man, why are they putting Brie Larson in Fast and Furious? I was like, why is she signing on for this? And I heard rumblings
I
like
would
a
think
month
that
or two
she's
ago.
like more up than to join Fast and Furious 10.
Yo, like I heard about, but that Helen Mirren is in Fast and Furious.
Well, she was in. She's been in like the last 4.
Nah, like maybe like last like 2 or
I think
3.
she was in Fast and Furious.
No, whatever the second to last one.
She is
was, she
Jason
was in that one.
Statham's son, or the mom of Jason Statham.
Yeah, dude,
and
it doesn't. Fucking
She's been
matter.
in the last 4 movies, so like
Fair enough.
yeah.
Okay. So she's in it.
She was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Fucking what's
John Cena?
No. What's Charlize Theron? She's in it, and it's just
Yeah.
like, why, dude? It's like, why are you guys sullying your careers
Yeah.
by being in these very shitty
At the press conference, like
admittedly
you're in
shitty
Fast
movies.
and Furious 10. Why so late? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
Yeah, I feel like you missed the boat. Like whatever the boat
well,
was.
Captain
that you,
Marvel wasn't good, so here I am. That's her answer.
Nah, dude, but she's got the Marvels coming up. I truly don't get the reason to join in the Fast and Furious franchise at this point.
Like Lindsay Lohan could have did this. You know what I mean?
Honestly, that
Fucking-
probably would have been more fitting.
Yeah.
No disrespect to you, Lindsay Lohan. I know you're coming back. You know,
No, all
with this
disrespect to
ring.
Lindsay
I
Lohan.
don't have any disrespect. I don't have.
I
any disres-
love her.
I disrespect nobody. Is
Yeah.
where I'm coming from. But anyways, so Vin Diesel revealed.
You know those?
through
I'm
his
sorry.
Instagram.
Bro. You know those celebrities who like I'd love to see them in person, just to be like, "Fuck you."
Why would you do that to Lindsay? She hasn't been through enough.
No, but with love though.
How is it? Has
You piece of shit. I
Since
love
when-
you.
Since when has anybody ever started the conversation is fuck you and to be like, I love you? When?
Often.
How does that happen?
Sometimes you see somebody, you're like, oh, you fucking piece of shit. Let's get a drink.
Nah, that's if you have a pre-existing relationship with that person. You can't just walk up to a random person and be like, fuck you. Because
well, no, you can do that all the time. Listen, I'm a Rams fan, so if I see a 49ers fan at a bar, I'm
no, but that's a pre-existing relationship because you're both coming. If you both didn't have your gear on and you said fuck you to that person, nobody would understand what the fuck's happening in this situation, and it'd probably be a fight.
Yeah, I've been in those situations too. But anyway, continue.
Vin Diesel revealed in his through his Instagram that Brie Larson is going to be a part of Fast and Furious 10. Now, the curious thing about this is obviously that we're very late in the stage for the Fast and Furious franchise. We're at 10. And so it's curious that she would decide now. Now, Fast and Furious 10 comes out in 2023. One thing, also Jason Momoa is going to be in Fast and Furious 10 as well. One thing that I find curious about this whole franchise is that it feels like they just keep adding people as the movies get worse because they know, like, as long as we have some big names in this movie, somebody's going to come out to watch this. And so it's a curious career choice, as we alluded to earlier. It's a curious career choice for anybody who is actually signing on to do these things because it's not a viable ship. Like, it's not like the ship is like, oh man, this is going to be viable for like the next, like, it's like, yo, they've only got like 2 or 3 of these like left in them.
Yeah.
Everybody just wishes that this would just fucking end. At this point, it's kind of like, it's like Titanic.
Yeah.
Like, just
here's what I'll say about it. If I were to sign on to Fast and Furious 10, I need it to be in my contract that this is the last movie. And if they do decide to make an 11, I still get paid. Because that's the only reason that I'm here.
That's fair. I find no.
If I'm Jason Momoa, listen, I need $15 million to do this movie, and
oh my god,
if you make it an 11,
oh my god, dude, I
need another 15.
I just read something that is truly heartbreaking. Fast and Furious 10 will be the penultimate chapter for the current.
Penultimate? Is that a word?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It basically just means the one preceding the final.
So there's going to be a one after this?
There's going to be a
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I believe Fast and Furious 10 is 2 parts. It's part 1 and part 2.
I don't care. Why isn't this the fucking last movie? This is so sad.
I don't know. But anyway, if I sign
on...
What
the fuck does it mean to split a Fast and Furious movie up between 2 movies? Like, what does that even mean? It's all one continuously long,
we can only
story.
take so much of this shit at a certain time. So we're going to split this 4-hour movie into 2 parts. Because I need a 6-month break in between filming.
How many times does Vin Diesel need to say family?
I'm sure the director was just like, yo, I cannot take Vin Diesel for 4 hours. I need a 6-month break in between filming.
I say that without trying to be disrespectful to Vin Diesel. Family.
Winning is winning. Win by an inch, you win by
a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You talk about my impersonations.
What if Vin Diesel's wife cheats on him? Is he just
Jesus Christ,
family? Dude. You know what I mean? Is he like? Is that? Oh, she's gonna use that actually, because she's gonna be like, "Oh, he's gonna be like, oh, you cheated on me."
That's where he got it from,
bitch. She's gonna be like, well, "Family," you know.
But she doesn't in his voice, so he can't even argue with her.
He's like, back on family. He's like,
all right, you got it.
I've been using that for 10 movies, so you get to use it once.
So yeah, anyways, that's happening. In other news, in terms of people coming back to different things or entering them for the first time, this is a story of people coming back to
porno.
It might as well be, dude. This is sexy as fuck. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul confirmed to appear in Better Call Saul season 6. We are getting Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, season 6.
I like this. That's very
Better
good.
Call Saul.
I fucking love it. That feels good.
I fucking love it.
That feels good. Yeah,
I love it. So here's a quote.
Bryan Cranston is a national treasure. Protect that man
for sure.
He should have like Tom Brady's O-line and the referees
at all times.
Like that's his security. Just throw flags.
Just mobbing with him through like fucking airport security.
He shouldn't have to go through airport security. Just at all times, flag on the play, 15 yards, first down, touchdown. That's it.
For sure. So here's a quote from the co-creator of Better Call Saul, which is Peter Gold. I don't want to spoil things for the audience, but I will say the first question we had when we started the show was, are we going to see Walt and Jesse on the show? Instead of evading, I'll just say, yeah. How or the circumstances or anything, you'll just have to discover that for yourself. But I have to say that that's one of the many things that I think you'll discover this season.
Damn.
Dude, I don't even
Better Call Saul. So I think I watched like 2 or 3 episodes of season 1, but I was watching something else at the time.
Yeah, bruh. It's one of those shows that is like I meant to stick, and it actually wasn't bad. It's just I was not in that. He's a really good actor. I was just not in the mind frame to like absorb what the fuck
I think this is when I just finished watching Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's hard to jump.
Do I want to start? It's like breaking up with one girl and like dating her twin sister. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to do that right now? Maybe later if I run into her at a bar, I'll fuck her.
Yeah, we should do a fucking analysis on your weird metaphors.
They all make sense. You just got to go down the rabbit hole. Follow the white rabbit. Right. Okay.
If you say so.
You didn't get that?
No, it is a Matrix reference. I got that.
Okay. If you did not, we'd have to end the show abruptly. I would question you.
No, I definitely caught on. But I think that this is great. That I don't think it defines the show, right? But at the same time, I feel like we all like if Better Call Saul was going to sort of cement its place, it had to bring back these 2 iconic characters because it's hard to imagine that we're going to get this massive sort of spinoff, especially a prequel nonetheless, and not get the 2 iconic characters that essentially built the house that Better Call Saul was
it's like upon, a Matrix spinoff, and like you're not gonna.
I can't get Neo and fucking Trinity.
Like just even if it's for
God damn
5 minutes, give me a little bit of the, and then you have my love and my admiration.
Yeah.
But you got to give me a little bit of it.
I gotta get them. So yeah, I'm really excited to get those 2 back in the fold. And honestly, this does actually inspire me to now go back and watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this on my list.
Saul. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think that's a proper way to sort of end it. We're just at the 2-hour mark here, and I promised myself that we weren't going to go terribly late. I want to get you out of here at a very decent hour. Unless you had something else, man. And like I said, we had some trailers, but I think we'll check those out next week. If at all. But yeah, with that, I think we'll
listen, if you need relationship advice or advice on how to view your life in like a very meta, non-meta, extra meta, no meta way, listen to this podcast. I thought we talked about some like relationship,
dude, we were
in the mix for a second. What you take away from the mix that we were in?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I feel like if you took something away from what we were talking about, you probably do need to go to therapy. This podcast is brought to you by WebMD.
Why is it WebMD? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's where you go to. If you go,
if you go to like WebMD to get therapy, like I don't know, you probably just have chlamydia.
All right, you see, like this is some weird shit. You need to figure that out. Where does that come from?
Listen, risky life choices. I don't
know. So yeah, stall for me a sec while I do this real quick.
Should I keep talking about chlamydia?
You should do something.
Yeah, I don't know. Nope.
That's what I wanted to play. I wanted to do that, but do it on the low. But I can't. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go ahead and play the outro because I was trying to lower it. Because every time I noticed when we were doing the outro, the music is really loud and you can't quite hear us. So I wanted to lower it, but I was not able to do that on the fly. So now I have wasted precisely 3 minutes talking about it instead of just hitting the outro. So we appreciate you listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. We appreciate you all. We're back. We're here on Mondays. We're probably going to live here at least for the foreseeable future. I believe so.
This is a great first Monday show,
dude. Great first Monday show. Weird first Monday show. It came out of nowhere.
You know what it is? It's early week energy.
Yeah, so we got the energy to like really deep dive into the show.
Fresh from the weekend.
Yeah. But now I'm tired and I have nothing for the rest of the week. So, so yeah. Good luck to anybody who's interacting with me for the rest of the week. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and we'll hit the usual protocol here.
Fade out.